everyone, welcome back to the Limitless TCG stream for the Pokemon Trading Card Game Liverpool Regionals for the 2017-2018 season. We are back after we've worked through the technical difficulties and we've been able to bring you this feature match from round 12. I am Nick Pierce and I've been very kindly invited to join in as guest commentator for Limitless alongside Limitless Philip.
Yeah. Philip Leziewski, not Philip Schultz.
Yes, I should probably clarified that. Anyway, so for this feature match, we're just going to get the things updated for you here. We have Rick Verwaal against Karl Peters. So Karl Peters is going to be playing alone Ninetales, and Rick is going to be playing Drampa Garbodor. So yeah, two of the, I guess, Drampa Garbodor being one of the sort of mainstays of the format, but Ninetales as well. It seems to sort of, it's not as popular or it's not seen as much as a meta deck as some of the other choices, but it seems to do well. It did really well at Birmingham, and it seems to be doing well here. We saw earlier, I think, how many are there in top 32 in total? Is it 3 or 2? It's quite a lot, isn't it?
I don't know, yeah, but quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah. So Rick is currently on, these numbers are wrong, I'm going to update them quickly. Rick is on 803, he just tied the last round, and Karl won his last round, so he is on 812. So this is, I believe this is, if not one of the top, if not the top table, I believe it's one of the top tables. I think, yeah, it's table 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's both of these players are going to be really, really gunning for a win, because if either of them wins, they could probably ID the next 2 rounds to make it into, or at least Rick definitely can, I think.
Yeah, sure.
So
a win would get them at least very close to a top 8.
Yeah. So it should be good. We're just going to, so our setup, we're just going to wait for everyone else to set up and we'll get the round started. So, got the timer?
Yeah, we're going to start the timer when they announce the round starts.
Okay, cool. So, how do you feel about this matchup playing out generally? Do you think it's pretty 50-50?
Yeah, actually I think Karl should be favored. Talked a little to Karl and he was like, now that I'm playing all those top tier meta decks, I'm feeling quite confident with my matchups. And obviously Alone Ninetales is very consistent and also targeting down those Garbodor decks because you have all those slight advantages. You don't need to play that many items. I think Karl plays only 12 or 11 items, something like that.
So it'd just be like, Aqua Patches versus Seekers, stuff like that to set up.
Continuously one-shot your opponent's Drampas while they can't really one-shot you. And they can't even two-shot you perfectly because you can just last in a Garbodor and then do the IS Path GX attack to heal yourself. So
that's really
you have
good.
all those things going for you. So I think Karl should be in the advantage. However, Rick is a very skilled player, so
of course.
We might see a very interesting match here.
Yeah, Rick actually finished day 1 of Swiss inversed. He went 8-0-1 day 1, which is insane.
That's really insane.
Very good record.
Yeah.
And just doing a count here, it's 14 items total. 4 versus Seeker, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Aqua Patch and 2 Choice Bands. So very low item count in this deck.
Yeah.
That's the advantage there. One of the things I really like about Alolan Ninetales as well, it's one of the most end-proof decks in the format because you play a 2-2 artillery line, which is just so good against them because you never even get into 1, just artillery and don't even care.
Yeah, yesterday we've seen players like Tobias Teeling choosing not to include the artillery line, and it kind of worked out for him because that way you don't rely on... Okay. Great. That way you don't get shut down by Garbotox and Garbodor that much.
This is true as well.
And you can play more supporter cards to make up for that. But in general, artillery is the more
favored option.
Yeah, favored option.
Okay.
Right. So the round's starting.
Yep.
Karl's going first. Seems like opening Alone in Vulpix, which should be one of his preferred starters. His first attack, Icy Snow, lets you set up right from the first turn. By searching out 2 Pokemon, and he just attaches and passes right back after playing a Kukui.
Yeah, a little bit of slow start for Karl there, not really that brilliant. I mean, you don't really want to make Kukui your first turn supporter, although equally Rick is just going to attach double colorless energy drive and take the knockout straight away, so very quick 2 turns from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, usually as a Ninetales player you want to power up your Alone Ninetales on the bench by attaching energies to them and powering up kind of multiple targets at once. But now Karl was kind of stopped in his tracks by the Slicer play.
Yeah, and you're having to Kukui again, and there's like 1 attachment water to the active, and that's going to have to be a pass. So back to Rick. Does he have another supporter, or maybe he just opted to take the Lysander KO for the easy prize? But it's doesn't look like Rick has a lot to work with right now. He's got Trubbish to bench at least, so that's good. And you'll be able to do 60 with energy drive, assuming he doesn't attach another energy. But
let's see what he goes for. So he has the Ultra Ball.
Yeah, so that's
probably at least he can go for a Tapu Lele to have another supporter.
I mean, yeah, he does have 3 of them, so assuming 2 aren't prizes, should be okay.
It'll be actually interesting to see what his game plan is going to be in this matchup, because usually going for Drampa is a little risky, because attacking 450 is not optimal in this matchup, because just with the Lysander and Ice Path, the Ninetales can heal itself completely while taking a knockout. So you might even go for the Tapu Lele and try to two-shot Lysander that way.
Yeah, potentially, and not only that, but even if you have, say, a choice band and you hit 180 with Drampa, that's even worse, because again, then you just Ice Path and it's just a straight knockout. You have to build up the damage slowly and then do the big damage, because otherwise Ice Path is just going to wreck you.
Yeah, just an underground play, you really have to think about what you're actually doing in this matchup. You can't go with your usual strategy like, oh, just send the choice band to Drampa, attack to Drampa and then attack for Berserk.
Exactly.
You can't do that in the matchup. You have to reassess your options, and
if that's Tapu Lele is probably one of the better attacking options in this matchup, because again, you can build up that damage slowly. You can do 60 turn 1 and then maybe attach a choice band and then DC next turn, then you build it up for the actual knockout without playing into Ice Path.
Yeah, actually thinking about it, the options seem kind of limited, because Garbodor doesn't do much because of the low item count, but also you can't really use Drampa to the full extent.
Not only that, but unlike, say, against something like the Sidgewai Ninetales, the Drampa is really strong against Ninetales, because you can just Righteous Edge for like 20 or 50, discard the double colours and you're really good. But with Karl, he can just power them up with basic water energies instead, and so again, that option isn't available either.
Yeah, that's true. So now he just attacked for 60. Let's see what Karl can do. I see a lot of Versus Seekers in his hand.
A lot of Versus Seekers.
He'll be able to attach a water energy and at least do 50 to something.
And it looks like that's what he's debating right now. He's going with a double colourless and a Rough Seas. That's pretty good. He does play 4 of those.
Yeah, he does play actually 4 Rough Seas and 2 Sand Labs, so very high stadium count.
Oh yeah.
He's mentioned that the Sand Labs have come up big in the first day. He said a lot of his opponents just drew after Sand Lab, because decks just rely so much on Tapu Lele apparently that you kind of lower your supporter counts and favor more Tapu Leles instead of that.
Yeah, because normally Lele is better, because instead of a supporter being one thing, Lele lets you pick exactly what you need at the right time.
Yeah, that's true, but Karl just counters that with Sand Lab.
Exactly.
And if they don't have the field blower at that point, then they might just dead draw.
Yeah. And especially considering a lot of other decks have really low stadium counts, so normally you'd be fine to just play a counter stadium, but so many decks are playing maybe 2. I think the only exception being something like the Sidgewai, which plays 4 Forest.
Yeah, that's true.
So an ultra ball here, Karl looking through, going to sort of decide what to get. If he has no supporter, he'll probably go for Tapu Lele, which is exactly what happens. And here comes the Wonder Tag for a Bridget.
Yeah, so Bridget, we see it that often in this format because it's just so overpowered. It lets you set up your whole board, and with Tapu Lele you have access to it whenever you have an ultra ball in hand, basically. And it's very important to set up your board with a lot of Pokemon, especially in decks like Ninetales that rely on their setup that much.
Yeah, if you want to do a comparison, it's sort of almost Bridget with Tapu Lele. It's almost turns Ultra Ball into a Pokemon collector, because
that's true.
Which is just insanely good.
Yeah.
And you see now, look how well Karl set up. He's got 2 Remoraid's, 2 Volbeat ready to go, and the Ninetales attacking.
His board was kind of blank before this turn, but with only 1 Bridget,
exactly
set up.
It's insane. So pass it back to Rick now. He's going to put a choice band on that, so that Trubbish on the bench, and then N is going to follow up from that. So I don't really see an option for Rick to be able to take a knockout this turn, especially with the heal from the Rough Seas. He'll be able to do a decent bit of damage, but like you already said, Philip, there's such a low item count for Karl that there's no way that Garbodor will be getting any sort of insane number hitting anytime soon.
Maybe also Karl intentionally attached the DCE so he gets more damage from Tapu Lele, so he can use his Ice Path to more effect.
Possibly, yeah.
Because he just attacked for 50 to the Tapu Lele, if I'm correct.
Yes, I believe so. That's right, yeah.
And now if he gets just attacked back for 100 damage, he can just Ice Path and heal it completely and knock out the Tapu Lele while he does it. So
yeah,
that's really strong.
That's very, 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 very strong. And then not only that, but say if later on if the Ninetales survives, then he can attack another water. And if he wants to do Blizzard Edge, you can just discard the DCE and use 2 waters on.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, they're doing oh my god! Wow. Okay. So there's a bit of a celebration going on with VGC here.
Yeah.
I think the VGC winner's just been announced.
Yeah, as you can see, we're not isolated here.
No.
We're right in the arena, so you can hear everything if someone's celebrating in another division, crowned winner or something.
So anyway, back to the game. So did Rick just attack with the energy drive? Or no, is it still his turn? It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Doesn't look like. Looks like Karl's thinking about doing stuff. So maybe Rick actually opted to just pass.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Considering what we were just saying about the ice path, yeah, because there's only one on that. There's only one damage on that Ninetales, right? So yeah,
only one damage counter.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he just passed. And here comes an Aqua Patch onto the bench Ninetales, which he's managed to evolve with this turn. He's going to want to get some auxiliaries out now. That's going to be a really good thing for him. And see an Ice Blade onto the bench Trubbish next, which is really good.
So it didn't seem like he had any energy to attach from hand. Otherwise, he could have maybe opted to go for a Blizzard Edge on the Tapu Lele for a KO.
Yeah, which would have been exactly enough, because there's already a bit of, let's say, 1 or 2 damage onto the Lele, so 160 you wouldn't even need a choice band to take the knockout.
But right now we see Rick opting to actually go for the Drampa. He feels like at some point he'll need that big damage from Drampa.
Yeah.
Only attacking with Tapu Lele for maybe 100 or 80, it's not gonna cut it all the time. Maybe you can attack with Tapu Lele first for 80 and then follow up with the Drampa for knockout.
Maybe.
That's probably what he's going for.
Tell you what though, something really huge has just happened. So Rick played down the Drampa with the Magma Base out, so that Drampa is now on 160, which again means any Blizzard Edge will take a knockout with even without a choice band.
Yeah.
It's actually really big.
So that Magma Base seems like it's hurting Rick more than Karl.
Yeah, it does. It's interesting because we saw that Tord Reklov, who won the North American Internationals recently, he opted to not play Magma Base at all in his Drampa Garbodor, instead of just playing just Rainbow Energies, and that seemed to work out really well for him. But we do see an Olympia from Karl, and then with the basic water attach onto the active as well, and so yeah, you just Ice Blade that Trubbish for a knockout. That's really good. So it takes one of the threats off of the board. It means that, let's say if Rick were to find a Garbotoxin Garbodor, he needs to find another tool as well to evolve the other Trubbish, and in order to shut off artillery. Not that even Karl doesn't even have artillery out yet, but obviously it will be important later. And I think that's probably why Karl is focusing down on his Trubbishes. He wants to make sure that he's okay in the late game.
Yeah, it's true. And as we can see with Karl's plays, whenever he does something, it leaves Rick with suboptimal options. Like right now, what do you do if you're Rick? You don't have great plays at your disposal right now, and another Drampa comes down with 20 damage on it already, so yeah.
Yeah, here comes the rescue stretcher from Rick. He's actually going to, he's going for the just a Trash Launch Garbodor, and he's evolving the bench Trubbish, so yeah, the Garbotoxin threat for Karl just really is not there at all right now. And yeah, there goes the Sycamore. It's like you said, Philip, just Rick's options are just really suboptimal right now. What do you do? Hit 80 and then...
What does that even accomplish? I mean, 80 damage.
Not much. I mean,
it's really not too great. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, Karl can just attach another energy and one-shot the Tapu Lele.
Wow. I mean, it's not completely over for Rick yet. He does still have options. He's not out of the game completely, but you have to imagine, there's an Ultra Ball for another Trubbish. Okay, so there's the threat of that again, but that's going to take 20 rather, and then another Ice Blade KOs it. So that Magma Base is really hurting Rick a lot.
That Magma Base, I think if you're Rick, you're starting to think about why you even played down that Magma Base.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's an energy drive for 80, and there's an artillery from Karl's side, and yeah, it's like I said, all he needs is one energy, and he can. There you go. He's deciding to. He's deciding to retreat. Oh, okay, yeah, of course. This makes sense as well, because it just preserves the Ninetales, make sure it doesn't get KO'd, and there's an artillery for 1. Does he see a Rough Seas? Yes, he does. So he even gets to heal off a bit with that Ninetales damage. And wow, this is such a good position for Karl right now.
So as we can see, he could have taken the knockout on the Trubbish, but maybe Rick was also baiting him into doing that, leaving the Ninetales in the active, and maybe maybe he was actually baiting him into knocking out the Trubbish.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But I mean, he can still knock out the Trubbish with this other Ninetales, but it just depends on where he feels like it's the best option, because he can either Blizzard Edge, and he'll go for the Blizzard Edge option, taking out the Tapu Lele.
Yeah, sure. That seems like a strong play.
Yeah.
So now he's left at 3 prizes, and board position-wise he's also in the advantage, so let's see what Rick can really do here.
Yeah, so he has got a Drampa live, which he can bring up with a double colourless, and he can attach a Psychic to that and do 150, but that plays into Ice Path, so that doesn't seem great.
Yeah, also the Drampa is just gonna get out right back with another energy attachment from Karl and Blizzard Edge.
Yeah. No matter which way you square it, Philip, it's not looking great for Rick right now.
Yeah, sure isn't.
So, I imagine if Rick had a double colours in hand, he would probably bring up the other Tapu Lele and Energy Drive. But then again, even that, he's only one Kukui and a Blizzard Edge away from a knockout there as well. So, yeah, I'm really struggling to see Rick's options right now. Do you see a Lysander?
Tries to go for a Lysander play here. Maybe, I think with 150 damage, it's a knockout in the Ninetales.
Yes, it will. Okay, so this works. This helps at least.
At least he's taking some prizes this way.
Yeah. But the other Ninetales are going to come up, and all Karl needs is an energy, and because as we already mentioned, the Magma base, it's Blizzard Edge.
And he even has the DCE, so maybe he can take 3 straight knockouts with 3 attachments.
Wow. And not only that, but the previously mentioned Silent Lab Philip is there now as well. So and an N.
Yeah.
So unless Rick does Rick even play Stadium? Oh, he plays Magma Base, but he only plays 2, and one of them's already gone. So he's gonna have to see a Field Blower and a Tapu Lele to sort of draw out this N to 3.
Yeah.
It's not great.
So it's outside definitely limited due to the Silent Lab.
I imagine when you were talking to Karl yesterday and he said it was really good because my opponent's options were extremely limited. I imagine this sort of situation is probably exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And there goes a Blizzard Edge, up comes the Trubbish, and what does Rick have? Oh, he does have a Field Blower. So if that's an option for him. But
let's see, even if he draws out of the situation, what can he really do this turn? Like, I don't know how many items are in the discard pile from Karl, but I imagine there not being too many.
No. And so you have a Float Stone, so you have a Field Blower, but does he even have a supporter? Might not. You can bring up the Drampa, but that, again, from the Magma base, it's already taken 20 damage. It's only one energy attachment from Karl takes the knockout.
Yeah, but he could have gone for the big wheel, but he just sees the writing on the wall, concedes this game, moves on to next game, which is definitely what you want to do. Yeah, that's definitely the correct move from Rick there, just going to try and save the time and move on quickly to game 2. So Karl Peters will take the first game, goes 1-0 up in his best of 3 series. Yeah. So Philip, if you're Rick, right? How do you play the matchup differently to make sure that what happened in that game doesn't happen again? Because it's like we were saying, it's tricky, isn't it? Yeah. Actually, I think Rick did his best, but we've just seen why Karl has the advantage in this matchup. And I don't know, I would just go for the Tapu Leles, try to two-shot the Ninetales with Tapu Lele and follow up with the Drampa maybe. And maybe add Karl and get a Garbotoxin to force him to play some more items together to come up with some Garbodor traditional strategy in the late game. But I don't know, does Karl play Field Blowers?
Karl, no, because he only plays 14 items. It's 2 Choice Bands, 4 Aqua Patch, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Versus.
So actually, if Rick is able to get out Garbotoxin, that will stick until the end of the game. Yeah. If he doesn't play Field Power to remove his own 2. Yeah, or if Karl doesn't Lysander and KO it. True. But yeah, just to go show. I also can't believe at the beginning of this I said, oh yeah, it's an even matchup, right? No, it's not. I've obviously not seen this matchup enough at all, and sort of now I've been thoroughly educated. As we see, shuffle out. Karl takes a mulligan. That one, a very, very shiny mulligan. Like, my god, that's just ridiculous. Yeah, Karl's using all those shiny cards. He likes to do that.
I remember it was funny once. I was at the Leipzig regionals earlier this year. Karl Peters was sitting next to me, and he was like pretending to be like a new player. He had like the damage counters from the theme decks, and like he was like saying, "Oh yeah, I'm new to the game. You know, don't go easy on me." It's just like, come on, Karl. Even I knew who he was, so it's just like, this is so funny.
Yeah, Karl's a really funny guy. It's also a really nice opponent to play against.
Yeah, he does seem like a very cool person. Rick as well. Both of these players are really lovely people. I've had a pleasure of talking to Rick many times. He's a cool guy, and he will be going first, obviously, for this game too. But he just attaches a rainbow and passes.
Yeah, well, that's not optimal.
No.
Of course, you can go for a big wheel next turn to get a new hand.
Yeah, this is true.
But still, you would rather just have a supporter from the start of the game anyway. Yeah, we're just updating the scores right now.
Yeah.
I forgot about that yesterday, like all the time. They were always telling me in the chat, "Oh, is it actually 0-0?
Yeah.
Like, isn't Karl up one game?" Yeah. So Karl's up one game. It's leading 1-0. Wait a second. There we go. Yeah, we have to do everything manually here. So bear with us.
So should be able to see a little bit more of Karl's hand now at least. So Karl's going to have a much better start than Rick, it looks like. He's going to be able to put down an artillery, he's got an ultra ball, sorry, a memory even, he's got an ultra ball for that. He's going to be able to actually set up, and did you see what supporter he got from Tempelele?
Looks like he has a full Sycamore in his hand.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very distinctive card.
That's what I say. That's one I think for us as casters, if they play like the full art cards, it's very easy to tell apart which card is which. Unless they're all rainbow rares, then it's really, really hard.
So seeing as they're not putting up any dice, maybe we can try to count the items and cards discard by this game.
Yeah, maybe. So
right now he's at 2.
Make a note of this somewhere. He's like a piece of scrap paper.
That would be great.
Yeah. Thank you. Handy backstage assistant Lydia has just provided us with paper. Thank you, Lydia. So that's 2 so far.
So yeah, looks like he's just played the Sycamore and attached the DCE to the bench.
And is that going to be is that a beacon he's doing, or is that? Oh no, is that from the Ultra Ball? No, yeah, he's doing beacon, isn't he?
Yeah, he went second, even though Rick didn't do much.
Yeah,
on his first turn.
That's what I think. That's why it was like a bit confusing. I feel like beacon is probably one of the strongest attacks in the whole game right now. Just no energy, being able to search a deck for any super Pokemon makes so many decks work that otherwise would just not work at all.
You wouldn't even need to play a Ninetales deck or even alone at Ninetales at all. We've seen people play it in Metagross or other like these kind of stage 2 decks that can just retreat into the Vulpix and attack with beacon.
Yeah, and then
to set up.
And then not only that, but if you do decide to play the Ninetales, like, in any deck, you can use 2 of the attacks because they only cost 2 colorless energy. So it's just so flexible. And of course, in this deck, it's even better because it focuses around it. You can even use them as a edge. Like, all 3 of Ninetales attacks are just insanely good.
So Rick at least had another attachment.
Yeah.
Puts the DC on this bench Drampa, and now he just goes for the big blue GX.
Big wheel, not a really great GX attack for just bailing you out if you have sort of nothing better to do, because just being able to essentially forces an N out of your opponent, because if they don't play one, you just sit there with a 10-card hand and then just like cool.
It just nets you a new hand. Doesn't even need to be a 10-card hand. Even a 6-card hand is good if you dead drew before.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just a nice little consistency boost. Not the greatest GX attack, but it's just decent.
Yeah, I agree entirely. So back to Karl. He does have the Ninetales, of course, from the beacon, and has another one and an artillery. So the setup's looking very insane already. And I'd be interested to see what Karl does here. There's a few different options he can go for.
We actually see a Pokemon Center Lady in his hand.
Oh,
another interesting supporter card. So with the Rusties and the Pokemon Center Lady, he can heal up to 90 damage per turn.
Yeah, and he puts down the double colorless on the active as well. Another Ninetales. He has all 3 now. Does he play a 4-3 line or a 4-4 line?
Definitely strong.
Yeah, he plays 4, so almost all of them, but not quite.
But enough to pull him through the game.
Yeah, exactly. And as you see there, a Kukui out of Karl to draw an extra 2 cards to do an extra 20. So this Ice Blade will be doing 70 if he chooses to attack the active, which looks like that's what's going to happen, maybe?
Yeah, he could definitely just ice plate for 80 and for 70 to the active, putting the Drampa at 80 damage, and then basically knock it out with maybe an ice path if he doesn't get a lot of damage, but he just decides to attack the bench Drampa and soften it up a little.
One thing he could have done, if he decided to attack the active, then that would go up to the 80 damage total, and then next turn, if he had Kukui and Choice Band, he could actually Ice Blade for a knockout. But it's a lot to ask for, though.
Yeah, probably wasn't in his hand.
Yeah.
So he didn't feel like he could reasonably go for that option.
No, exactly. We do see Rick was able to keep that big wheel hand, so he's going to have a lot of options to work with this turn. We do see benches a Trubbish straight away, and of course, because of that rainbow energy on the active Drampa, if he finds a way to retreat it, he'll be able to, as long as he has another energy, attack with the bench Drampa, and he can start getting some damage in. But again, he has to be careful about Ice Path. And okay, so it looks like he's probably going to do Righteous Edge for 50, which is actually really strong because it discards the double colorless and it does a safe amount of damage.
Yeah, it's not really playing into the Ice Path GX attack. But it actually just gets enough damage so he can get a knockout next turn with another Drampa and a Choice Band and Berserk.
Yeah.
So that 50 is actually bigger than it seems.
No, it's a really strong. Playing into Ninetales like this is normally the only or best way that Drampa can play around Ninetales, because sort of any other option is normally just not optimal.
Yeah.
Down goes the not an Ultra Ball from Rick, so I imagine he'll probably just get a second Trubbish from this. Or maybe a Tapu Lele if he has no supporter, although you'd think he'd draw a supporter from 10 cards.
Is that a Team Flare going to just discard it?
Was it? Possibly, actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, he does play one, so
yeah,
wow.
That's interesting. So that might even come up in this matchup after a Blizzard Edge. Usually you just discard a DCE with the Blizzard Edge and attach a DCE next turn or another energy to just Blizzard Edge again, but with the Team Flare Gaunt you can just remove another basic energy from the Ninetales, so it is unable to attack with Blizzard Edge once more next turn.
Yeah, that's really good.
So that might be an option to go for in the late game.
Yeah, then this might be one of the, we were sort of just talking about, how does Rick actually pull off this matchup, and that might be a method for him to actually pull this off if he can.
Yeah, because if Ninetales can't use Blizzard Edge in this matchup, it doesn't do too much, because you have ways to play around Ice Path, and also, what's the first attack called?
Ice Blade.
Ice Blade doesn't do too much against the Drampa Garb deck. Well, given that you don't bench Trubbishes with Magma Base in play.
Yeah, no, normally so I was playing Decidueye Ninetales yesterday, and Ice Blade is really good against this deck if you have Decidueyes, then you do 20 plus 50, you pick off Trubbishes, but obviously Karl doesn't have that option. Do you see he does? Oh, he's played another item, that's an Aqua Patch for him, so that's going to be 3 now. And, actually he's put a die there for us to see. So,
yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
So the die is just in the frame.
Yeah.
So perfect.
He's left with no energy on this Ninetales, which is a little bit of a problem. He doesn't play Floatstone, so actually retreating for him is really hard.
Yeah.
He'd have to, if he wanted to attack this turn with a Blizzard Edge, he would have to attach to the Ninetales, get another Aqua Patch plus Water Energy and discard, and then retreats and do that.
Yeah. And he would even need to get a Choice Band as well to get a knockout on the Drampa. That's active.
Oh yeah, because it's only taken 1 damage, not 2. Wow. Yeah,
so that's a lot to ask for.
It's a hell of a lot to ask for.
You might even just go for an attachment somewhere, maybe to the bench. The active is not too safe anymore.
Oh, he does.
At the same time, you kind of want to attach to the active because it doesn't do much without energies.
No.
And if it doesn't get knocked out, then you at least need to do something with it. So.
Yeah. Oh my god, he got it.
He got it all.
Yeah. He already had the water and discard as well. Wow.
Wow, artillery proving itself really strong.
Yep.
Just letting him draw into everything that he needed to get the knockout this turn, and Karl just has the nuts.
That is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Blizzard Edge for 190 for the knockout on the Drampa, and Rick is going to be more than a little bit upset right now.
Yeah, sure is. Also, the other Drampa already has 50 damage on it, so it's already kind of softened up. It will be kind of easy for Karl to take a knockout on that one.
Yeah, wow.
And that Drampa and that Ninetales in the active doesn't even have damage on it yet.
Oh, what? Oh, gosh. That's
such a strong position. And he can't use Tapu Lele because of the Silent Land.
No.
Oh, man. And he forgot about that and tried to use it. But
Rick.
Karl stopped him.
What are you doing, Rick?
But, well, you don't see Silent Lab too often, so you just assume you can play the Tapu Lele, but in this case, yeah, you couldn't. And Rick just forgot about it.
Oh. That's a sad times for Rick right now. That is just...
Yeah, I think he was just upset about that huge turn from Karl and was like, just Tapu Lele. And didn't think about it too much.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
He's also on stream. So.
Yeah, he's also on stream. Also, I think in this particular instance, like doing that kind of mistake is not terrible because A, he had a supporter anyway, and B, you still want Tapu Lele as an attacker. So actually, compared to, it's not like he...
Maybe he was even just going to look through his deck to see what's in there and not even grab another supporter.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to play Super.
Yeah, that's
the case.
That's entirely possible.
But it looks like he just evolved into Garbodor and passed.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't look like he'll be able to get Garbodor in and play this game.
Again.
Yeah, again. Karl could actually just play Kukui and knock out the active Trubbish with Ice Blade.
Yeah, he could. Does he have? Oh no, he doesn't have one. He hasn't one. But I mean, still, it doesn't really even matter that much. Karl's in such a strong position here.
Yeah.
He just needs to make sure that he doesn't lose to something silly. Like, I don't even know what that could be at this point.
Yeah, of course, N is the start of every comeback, so of course he attaches to the bench to kind of put himself in a even more N-proof position.
Yeah, and this is always something that the best and most intelligent players do. Like, even if you're ahead and you're winning, you never don't prepare for an end because that's where, as you say, that's where comebacks happen. So you make sure you power up everything else up. You make sure that there's nothing viable for your opponent to Lysander stall. You just prepare for every eventuality.
Yeah, and that's what you need to do if you're in the lead. You see, those weaker players, if they're in the lead, they kind of get excited and overextend and try to get the win as fast as possible. But you just have to kind of accept that you're in the lead and just look at the board and think about what you can actually do and what the smartest play would be and what your opponent, of course, can do in the next turns and how he could lose and try to prevent to lose that way.
Yeah, you even have to think about the tiny, what if, let's say, like a 1 in 100 chance my opponent does this and I lose? How can I even mitigate that? It's just
you have to eliminate even that slight 1% chance.
Yeah. Right, so going back to the turn here, and they're finally going to draw off the N. Oh, did the Rick play his own N as well? Is that what happened there? Oh, okay.
And it looks like 4 items are in this cat pile right now from Karl, so Trashland doing 80 damage right now. Yeah. And as we saw, Karl drew into the Pokemon Center Lady, so between Rough Season and Pokemon Center Lady, that Trashland attack would result in 0 damage. Yeah.
You know what, actually, although it's kind of hard to pull off because of sort of the way he's set up, what might have actually been a good strategy for Rick if he could pull it off is that actually try and Acid Spray with a Garbodor, like attach a Psychic and a DCE, and just combine it with a Team Flag runs, and then that way you can actually knock off even 2 basic energy in one turn.
Yeah, it's really strong. I think if you can kind of keep Ninetales on low energy amounts, then you'll be fine because it can't do much without a lot of energies. Yeah.
It's just that I think the problem Rick's been having is that Karl's just set up too fast to make that strategy viable.
Yeah. Yesterday we've seen Tobias teasing kind of having a slower approach. He didn't do much until like turn 5 or 6 even. I think against his other Drampa Garbodor match he didn't even take the first prize until like turn 5 or something, and was just powering up multiple Ninetales because he didn't have those kind of cards like Rough Seas to kind of bounce back, and he couldn't really go all in. Also he didn't play artillery, so he was kind of reliant on a slower setup, but Karl's deck seems to be a lot faster, and that seems to be really strong in this matchup.
Yeah, that's the thing with artillery. Not only is it a consistency card, but it can also be a speed card because it can get you insane setups like Karl did in that one turn where he got the choice band and everything. And we do see a Lysander onto the Drampa for Rick's bench.
I think that really should lock up the game at this point. I mean, Rick really has to hope that Karl never draws into another energy or something
It just
like
seems
that.
so unlikely. Oh, we do see the team flag run though. This is what you were mentioning earlier, Philip. Maybe this is a chance for if Karl gets a bit unlucky with energy draws, but with artillery.
But he's also eyeing up the N. I mean, Karl does play Aqua Patches, so team flag run might not even be enough.
See, that's the problem. No matter which one Rick plays, Karl has an answer. If he plays N, oh, I have artillery. If he plays Team Flag Run, oh, I have Aqua Patch. It's like, what can I do?
Yeah, not too much actually.
No.
I really don't see many great options for Rick. He does have... I mean, Rick doesn't really have outs, but Karl, he just has to hope that Karl whips all of his outs.
Yeah.
Okay, actually decided to go for an N.
Yeah, and maybe he's just hoping that... Now, if this N were combined with Garbodor, then that would be really strong, obviously.
Yeah, that would be strong. But right now, it just doesn't do too much because Karl plays 2 cards. He can even play down one of those or 2 and then draw another 5.
Yeah, exactly. And I see a Trash Lunch for 80 from Rick, and what does Karl have? Does he have the win this turn? No, he doesn't. He has the artillery.
Just goes for the artillery. We see an Aqua Patch, I think a basic Water Energy, and is that a Versus Seeker?
It is, but there's nothing, there's no choice band, so you can't win straight away.
So he decides to Lysander up a Drampa anyway, attaching an energy to the bench and just using his GX attack to remove all the damage from his Pokemon.
Yeah, which is more than fair. Now, that was, again, it was 80, wasn't it? I'm fairly sure, unless...
Yeah, so now he has 2 little Ninetales, basically almost fully set up, and with 0 damage on both of them.
And not only that, but the Drampa has a retreat cost of 2, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there was no way that Rick was going to be able to take 6 prizes this game, so a very, very convincing 2-0 from Karl here.
Yeah. Wow, and the power of a load of Ninetales again, just demonstrating how, especially with where everything is, the artilleries and the consistency you have, and a really incredible deck to watch.
Yeah, actually looking at Karl's other matchups, there are a lot of the Sidra Ninetales decks here, and he plays 4 Rupsies to counter them. So maybe those decks even have maybe a slight option with Espeon EX to be able to evolve his Ninetales, but if they can't pull an Espeon play, Karl looks like he has all good matchups in this field.
Yeah, it does, and even then with the Espeon plays, you normally set those up over like a few turns, then you do like one big push with the Miraculous Shine, and of course, like you said, with Rupsies, that kind of counters that, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, so Karl wins that. He was going to be very, very, very happy to take another win. As we've got 2 more rounds left, I believe, or is it 6 rounds for us today? Sometimes it's 6, but normally it's 5.
No, it's 5.
Okay.
We're only 405 masters. I mean, it's the biggest regional we've had in Europe, but not quite as big as the US Internationals, where we had 15 rounds, I believe. Or 16 rounds. Yeah, today.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know, I think we've had, it was 15 rounds. Today we have 14 rounds, so another 2 to go. We will streaming both of those, and we will be looking into some more interesting matches for you.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Don't go anywhere.
Yes.